Okay, I am watching that show again, and one of the girls in there does her own music video, or she does her own recording. She wants to be a singer as well as a dancer, which is awesome. You have to have multiple talents if you want to make it. Just being a dancer, you might end up being a backup dancer for a few years and then tossed off to the side, and then nobody knows your name. You're nobody. Okay, so the head honcho coach lady, the teacher, is like, well, hey, if you're gonna do a recording album thing, because she had all the other students in their group be backup singers, which is totally awesome. I think that's great. And the head honcho teacher is like, well, hey, why don't we make our own music video? Like, we're all dancers. Let's make our own music video. And it's so funny because the little girl's like, gosh, she's like sucking the fun out of it. She's yelling at everybody and sucking the fun out of it. I have been in several music videos. Again, background, I wasn't featured. I'm just an extra in a bunch of these videos. There's a lot of people that do it. And oh my goodness gracious. Oh my gosh. Oh. The yelling. Oh, the yelling. The pointing and the yelling. And oh my god. Just If you are not prepared for it ahead of time, yeah, it's a little shocking. But, I mean, considering your dance teacher yells at you 24/7 about point your toe and, you need to lift this up higher and, stuff like that, you should be used to it. You should already know. Plus, they were in a music video. I mean, they were all in a music video already. They did some famous pop star music video thing. And he was just yelling the whole time. The main director guy. And that's what happens. They yell constantly. They're yelling above people talking. They're yelling above the cameras and buzzing of lights and stuff. They're yelling above background music. They're yelling above if anybody's trying or playing an instrument of any kind anywhere. I mean, there's a lot, and usually you're not right up in their faces. You're way the fluffer way back there. So you can't just go, hey, so... No, you gotta yell all the way across the room, hey! That's a reality, Especially if you're on a soundstage. I mean, But it's just so funny because it's like, you should have known that already, I had to make this video and make that comment because I thought it was so funny. Because I do not have anywhere near the experience that these girls do. Nowhere near the experience that they do. They are way ahead of me by a long shot. But yet somehow I have more experience than they do in the real world with all of it, which kind of doesn't make sense to me. But again, I know, it's a reality TV show, which means 100% of it is fake. It's just based off of stories that people have handed over, whether it's true or not. And I think it's really funny that where they're at in Pennsylvania, they have a competition there every so often, every couple of weeks. There's competitions in certain areas across the United States. Duh. And they get so excited because, hey, we're going to, and then they name off the area they're supposedly at. It's like, isn't your dance studio in that part of Pennsylvania? Like, literally in that town? That's what you've advertised since day one, is that your dance studio is in this town in Pennsylvania? But you're super excited because you get to go to this town that you're already in? Now, if it was a particular, studio, or they all do it at high schools, which is also a kind of tip-off that it's not real. Because high schools, you can kind of rent out a high school and do a movie or a show, which has been done plenty of times. I was actually a background character in a high school movie. Not like High School Musical or anything, nothing that big. It was called The Pranksters, and there were some really good big actors in it and everything, but the movie was made by one of my classmates. And the school that I went to has, and will always have a lot of very famous celebrity children. That is where they go. That is where they start, like, drama club and stuff, like the acting and everything. That's one of the places they go. It is like the biggest, and I think I've mentioned it before in one of my videos, but that is like the biggest thing they do. And so a very rather famous director, his kid, I was going to school with this kid, and so don't tell my husband, my at the time boyfriend was in drama club with this kid and got an offer to be in it with him, to bring some friends along, and with us dating and hanging out like 24/7, it was like, well, sure, you know, be an extra in it, why not? I was the third person to stand up and say, I'm a prankster, near the end of the movie, and it was so cool. And I got to be a background, you know, and all this stuff, and it was pretty awesome. It was a great experience. And you know, I've always, because of the area that I lived in at that time, I saw a lot of really famous people. Like Robin Williams was a constant. He knew my name. When I was working at one area, every once in a while he would come in because he was a patron of our place, and we never wore name tags because our names aren't important. In an area like that where everybody's rich and famous, or, you know, half of them are rich and famous, the other half wish they were, and so acted like they were, and you have no name. You're a nobody. If you're not rich and famous, if you're working behind a counter, you're a nobody. So we didn't usually wear name tags. This man knew my name. Every time he walked in there, he knew my name. We saw him at, like, Best Buy. My little sister saw him on her birthday at Best Buy one of the times and got pictures with him. Him and I hung out at GameStop several times because that's one of the places that I worked at this one particular GameStop that he would pop in at. And, you know, we'd talk about video games because, as everybody now knows, that was a great love of his at the time. Nobody knew that. It was like a huge, what? But I knew. You know, and it was totally cool. And having those conversations with him, he learned my name pretty quickly. And so when he came into another place of business a couple years later, somehow he just remembered my name. Oh, hey! And by the way, my name is not a typical name. It's strange, to say the least. It's a very old name. I have a very, very old name. And it's unique. There are not a lot of young people with my name out there. You hear my name, you think of a very old person or a queen. Which is part of the reason why a lot of people mistake me for Victoria or Elizabeth. Because my name sounds very similar. I mean, it's a royalty name for a reason. And, you know, they get my name mixed up with those for a reason. It's a very royal name. And it's beautiful. I love my name. Oh my god, do I love my name. It's beautiful. But anyway, so yeah. I don't understand how these girls don't know any of that. Like, by the time I was 20 years old, I was in several movies, several music videos. I had a dance, I can't say career, it was not a career, not for me. It was just a hobby. It was an after-school hobby kind of thing. Except I was homeschooled, so it was kind of a, while everyone else was at school, I got the extra lessons kind of thing. So. And I like to sing on the side. So, I mean, you know, I got a little triple threat going on there. Got some acting, got some dancing, and got some singing in there. But none of that matters. But I don't get how I know all of this, and these girls have no clue. When they supposedly, not only have they grown up in this industry, but their parents have all grown up in this industry. And, you know, it drives me so nuts. Ugh. Ugh. Just the insanity.